Whether you're moving here, curious about expat life, or just want to hear a good story, this one's for you. I have been in the Philippines for 2 years. Stay with me as I share the good, the bad, and the unexpected of living here in the Philippines. So, for the past 2 years, I have been living in the Philippines. It's been a whirlwind of surprises, challenges, and a life-changing moments that I never expected. From surviving a 3-day earthquake in Davao to starting over in Cebu with a newborn and a new career as a business consultant. At the end of the day, this journey has nothing been short of extraordinary. And if you wait till the end of the video, I will share my 5 pain points and how I overcame them living here in the Philippines for the past 2 years. Oh, that's some good peppermint tea. When I first moved to Davao, it felt like paradise. It was a new place for me. I had an opportunity to live in the Philippines, a dream come true that I never thought would come true, to be honest with you. Shout out to Turnkey, who made that all happen. Shout out to Steve and Jackie, who made that all happen. And I will forever be grateful for that opportunity. The city is surrounded by lush greenery outside of the main cityscape, stunning beaches in Samal. If you do more research, Govgen and Mati have really great beaches as well. I've never been to Govgen, but I've been to Mati, where the beaches there are pretty like white sandy, kind of pretty cool. And the sense of calmness is really hard to find elsewhere compared to where I'm living now in Cebu. And when I first moved to Davao, I lived in a condo, which gave me a really good mix of, convenience and comfort. And for those of you interested in moving to Davao, don't be scared. Although it's in Mindanao, I know what they say about Mindanao, but Davao is totally different. Here's some facts about Davao. Davao is ranked one of the safest cities in the Philippines, and I can attest to this 1,000%. Actually, for me, Davao is very similar to westernized cities in the sense of being orderly. The cops are around all the time. They have speed guns, so you can't really speed. You can't really speed, but And now I think they have speed speed cameras around the city now. But they're really on the up and up when it comes to westernizing the city. I personally like it there when it comes to that calmness there. When you go out to the outskirts of Davao, there's always military presence to make sure that the bad guys stay out, to be honest with you. So Davao is also known for its affordable living. Compared to here in Cebu right now, I can attest to that as well. It's a bit more expensive here in Cebu. I think nationally it's about 6% more, but you do feel it sometimes, especially at the grocery store and your daily living expenses. Like, you can rent a decent sized 1-bedroom in Davao for like $250. I've seen those as well. You can do it here as well in Cebu, but you won't get the same ambiance environment sometimes like you do in Davao. I thank God my wife made this tea. It makes me feel good. But I used to start every morning with coffee at my condo facing Mount Apo. Hopefully I can put some pictures here, but it was such an amazing view from the condo. It really gives you a refreshing, perspective every morning. Especially like I work graveyard shifts, so when coming home, it really helped me with my meditation and reflection, just to release and, just calm my nerves down and get the day going for myself. So it felt really surreal when I was on the balcony all the time, to be honest with you. And really, like, for me, Davao really embodies that phrase, quality of life, to be honest with you. Eventually, I will make my way down there, potentially buy a home there. I mean, the main ultimate goal is to have a house here in Cebu, have a house in Davao, and have my house in Bacong, in Negros as well. But for some, Davao's safety precautions might feel restrictive, to be honest with you. Compared to like living in like Negros, Dumaguete and Cebu, it does feel a bit restrictive. There's always CTTMO out there, which is like the traffic enforcers. They're really big on ticketing people, like, to the point where you're running red lights, going the wrong way, which I all like because I'm all about order. But sometimes it is frustrating. It is frustrating, to be honest with you. And police everywhere. Now, for me, I didn't really mind the rules because it made me feel secure, especially with the army and the police everywhere. But for some people, it's stifling. Take that with a grain of salt, depending on how you are, because at the end of the day, the police presence and law enforcement is nowhere near how it is in America. But some people just they want zero enforcement sometimes. They want like Wild Wild West sometimes. So take that with a grain of salt. Living in Davao started as a dream, but it quickly turned into one of the most intense experiences in my life. By this I mean, there was like a 3-day earthquake, 3 days, like nonstop. And that really stressed me out, to be honest with you. So the 3-day earthquake wasn't just about physical safety. It forced me to reconsider how well prepared I was for times like that. That wasn't the first earthquake I encountered. So when the first tremor hit, I was like, it is what it is. It's just shaking a little bit. Let's go downstairs. I think it was like a 7 point something, or 6 or 7 point something. It happened up north, but the effects hit Davao. And being in a condo, you can actually feel the shaking. And over time, it just gave me vertigo type thing. Like, I think earthquake vertigo type thing. Earthquakes are common in the Philippines. So I knew this, right? After the first one I felt, I was like, well, that's the first earthquake I've ever felt in my life. But the second and third day was the most frustrating, because every time we would go up after the alarms, turned off and security told us to go up in the condo, not even 30 minutes later, it would start shaking again. So at some point, it's like almost, if you ever went on like this old ride in the carnival, comment down below, called Gravitron, will just keep spinning around. The effects of it when you come off, it's like sometimes it's still spinning. That's how I felt during that whole entire time, the 3 days. Like, as in, like, I would be brushing my teeth, any type of shaking or anything like that, it would get me to the point where it's like, am I going through an earthquake right now? I'm always questioning myself. So I was like, it really hit me hard. I wasn't like emotionally distraught or anything, but I was like stressed out to the point where it's like, when is it gonna stop type thing? But yeah, it was just one of those moments where I was like, I don't think living in this particular condo, having this particular view of the mountains was worth it at that point in time, right? My wife and I decided to move into a house because I forwent my down payment. I forgoed everything because honestly, the facade of the building was the one that's affected, not the real actual, structure of it. But the optics of it, scared my wife and I, as in like, what happens in the next one, But then again, that particular earthquake, they said it was like one of the one in every 100 years type things. But I am not gonna stay around for another one to hit and then have the same feeling. I'm sorry. So it took a toll on us emotionally those 3 days, what I'm saying? And then we stayed on for maybe another month or two, but we kind of had our mind made up, to be honest with you, because it was really like stressful to a great degree. Just, you are left just like, me personally, I would look at the chandelier, and if it's shaking, I'm like, is there another earthquake? And I would have to the point where I had the phone app to the local, earthquake emergency website, where it would tell you where the tremors and things are going. So I got a little paranoid after a while, to be honest with you. Moving halfway across the world is a big thing. I've been to the Philippines. I went to college here for quite some time. So to some degree, going to college and being here as a young kid, you're not really fully immersed in the Philippines, just segments of the culture, because I'm focused on going to college. And when I was younger, it was always vacation. And when I lived here during the time where after my kidney operation, my kidney donation, I was like just stuck on my farm, and then I just went out. And so I wasn't working here, and I wasn't part of the working class to really fully, immerse myself in the culture per se. Although I am Filipino, I still had to re-assimilate myself to the Filipino culture in the work setting, and then more in a broader setting, versus just like, me being on the farm all the time, and then me running my own businesses here before, or me starting my businesses before, and just being like the, like big picture, like not involved so much in the day-to-day stuff. I want to segue that into professionally. I had to slow down my pace here in the Philippines, especially being from New York. I'm always on the move. I had to slow it down tremendously living here in the Philippines. Building relationships here in the Philippines are just as important as closing deals, because I find that Filipinos are very emotional when it comes to friendships, bonds, and things like that. So that's something that I'm not really used to because it's just transactional, for the most part in America, or my experiences in America. Like meetings often start with small talk, like most of the time, but it becomes more of a friendlier tone, it becomes more intimate in a sense compared to how it is in America. But I came to understand that having these small talks, having that connection, building that rapport, it's a huge step forward in networking, huge step forward in building trust and confidence in the business relationships that you do have. So for those of you conducting business here, without having that sense of wanting to cross that bridge of communication or having that sense of closeness here, sometimes it'll hinder you from your growth. So personally, I had to unlearn a lot of habits I learned in the West and living in New York especially. For instance, obviously you've heard of Filipino time. Punctuality is super flexible here. What I saw as a delay and disrespectful is just normal here, which to a great degree, I'm still punctual, and it's kind of a pet peeve of mine, but I have to adjust ultimately and try to find or finagle a way where we can kind of meet in the middle there. It is super frustrating at first, but I've learned to adapt and found my ways to get it closer to a realer time. But what I did notice here in the Philippines is that Filipinos have a special talent of staying calm under pressure for the most part, which for like the earthquake and certain things and tragic things or extreme things, it's pretty comforting to the fact like many Filipinos here can just not like act like nothing's wrong, but it's a calmness that I really admire here, to be honest with you. So after the chaos in Davao, life threw us a curveball, of which was terrifying and exhilarating at the same time. A new baby. So my baby, Princess Ruby Rose. So we had a new baby in our hands. We stayed there for about 2 to 3 months, and we were like, do we want to make this move? Because I had other things to do in Cebu, or it was closer to Dumaguete. So I made that move. And it was terrifying to some degree because, we had to start over, and it wasn't, I knew it was prepared. I knew it was prepared for it. I had the in me to get it done, but nonetheless, it was still a bit, like taking a risk at the end of the day. So sometimes life has a way to nudge you towards a new chapter. Right, and I was left at the precipice of either turning the page or continuing on my journey, and I turned that page. So moving to Cebu was a new start for us, but it was both exhilarating and I was nervous because I didn't know what to expect. People in Davao, because people in Davao and people in Cebu kind of act different. So it was just an adventure for me of understanding and, just absorbing my new environment. My family, my mom and my dad, have been laying the groundwork for my family, my siblings and I in Dumaguete and Cebu. So I had an opportunity to get closer to, operations here in Cebu and in Dumaguete. So I had to take the chance, and honestly, I needed to change a portion of my life, right? I needed to adjust a few things because I needed to redirect my life to some degree and get some focus there and clarity there. So one of the biggest reasons why I moved to Cebu, aside from having this new start, is because I was closer to my family. There's something deeply comforting having your loved ones, at a moment's notice or really close to you, because from time to time we do need help, and from time to time I do love connecting with my family, especially when you have a newborn. I want to introduce everyone to my baby and make sure that she knows that the side of the family, whether it was babysitting, emotional support, having people in the house, staff in the house. So taking care of menial things that Ruby and I can focus on the bigger things, it's such a huge help. So let me tell you, relocating to Cebu with a 3-month-old baby, it's not for the faint of heart. There's so many things we have to deal with logistically, emotionally, just everything under the sun, trying to uproot and move into Cebu in a timely manner, in a safe manner, and making sure the baby was comfortable as possible. So that was a journey within itself. Between like sleepless nights and endless diaper changes, it was all a great adventure. Now she's 8 months old, so everything's a bit more manageable. We have assistants in the house helping with this as well. So everything's coming together cohesively, synergistically. And I'm happy. I'm very grateful, especially balancing my new work, balancing, my life here. Having assistants has been a game changer in Ruby and I's lives. So starting over in Cebu it's like deja vu with a twist, because not even 2 years before I was in Davao. So it was just it felt the same but different, if that makes any sense. The twist was that Ruby and I weren't just living and building our lives for ourselves like we've always been, but the baby's in our lives now. So which kind of like amped up and fired us up even more to lay the groundwork for her. So this whole entire thing, this pretty much encompass this 2-year journey. What I didn't realize was how much life would teach me resilience and adaptability. Having the baby kind of reset your priorities, being and conducting your own business, being around family business. It kind of like arranges certain things where you have to make it work. And right now, for what we have laid out right now for us, Ruby and I, it's working right now. I know that things will come up here and there. However, at the end of the day, that's how life is. Life will always throw you curveballs. But at the end of the day, especially, with my wife and I, we're there for each other. We have God in the center of our lives, and we're moving forward to what we believe is the best moves for not just us, but for my princess. So every move that we do now is just literally like trying to lay the groundwork in the providing the best, most stable situation for her and the rest of the family to make sure that Ruby and I are building a legacy for them, not just for us. And at the end of the and while I'm in Cebu here, or while I've been here in the Philippines for almost 2 years, I finally found a balance of being able to relax, with the family, finding that work-life balance, as they say now, grinding as much as I can, but being able to still spend time with the family. And I'm truly grateful for that. I'm truly grateful for the opportunities that have been placed in front of me to exercise my intelligence, to exercise my want to be an entrepreneur, my want to be a people person, a servant leader, so many things. So I'm so grateful for that. So here are my 5 pain points that I face as an expat / like Filipino-American here in the Philippines. 1, cultural miscommunication. So because I grew up in the West, I grew up in New York, I grew up as an American, there's certain things that, that I don't particularly get, but at the same time, I have to fight with to a great degree to understand, to adjust, at the same time, try to meet in the middle. Because I do think there's a value in Western culture, at the same time integrating that with the culture here to really be a bit more well-rounded. But there's many times where there was miscommunication on my part and the other person's part where we have to talk it out and really understand. Number 2, infrastructure challenges, which is the challenge is putting it lightly. So certain things here in Cebu, especially, Davao's pretty good. But nonetheless, Philippines in general, there's certain infrastructure issues that I have here, especially with banking, the government system, the roads I can deal with because I'm from New York. I'm used to potholes and stuff like that. I don't really care about the roads. But one thing is like the redundancy, the things that can be chopped out, the red tape and things like that. These are things that are very frustrating to me as an American, and things that I really don't want to adjust, but I need to adjust or find ways to mitigate the stress, because for 100% sure, you're going to be stressed out. So the ways I mitigate or hedge my stress, if I have the money for it, I'll just let other people do it for me and run for me. Obviously, I need the receipts. I need all the proof that everything is done. I'll pay for the service at the end of the day, whether it's my license, business licenses, like driver's licenses, anything, because it's really frustrating here. So I try my best not to even involve in it, because with my mouth and me being from New York, oh my goodness, I am not the person you want to be next to on the line being frustrated. But with that said, there are many challenges here with the infrastructure here. That's probably for another video, to be honest with you. But just be aware that you're gonna be hit maybe in the face really hard with the fact that things are a bit slower here, things seem a little bit backwards here, but I'm sure in your own home countries, there's things government-wise, infrastructure-wise that you would think you can streamline, but it hasn't. So just be prepared. Number 3, language barriers. Although Filipinos, to a good degree, have a good understanding of American, or I'm sorry, English. For the most part, Filipinos, English and the concept of English it's there. You know, nouns, verbs, and all those other things. But it's just the feeling, the slang, the connecting, it's the underlying emotions that go with the language to really convey your message that might get lost in the sauce. That's what causes a lot of misunderstandings. So for example, Filipinos, for the most part, they'll say yes, not to so much acknowledge and understand and really get what you're saying. It's more to acknowledge that they hear you, and then they're attentive of you. At the same time, there are just cultural differences when you convert them from, like, let's say Bisaya to English, and there's an emotional attachment to that language that some Filipinos ultimately, I don't want to insult anyone, but it goes over their head sometimes. So at the same time, when they say something, or like in Cebuano, I just don't get it because of the context of it, I miss it as well. So that's something that I'm still trying to figure out and trying to really get good at when it comes to the contextual, conversation in both English and in Bisaya or Cebuano. Number 4, healthcare accessibility. I haven't needed to use the healthcare here, but now I have a daughter. I'm sure it's going to be frustrating with how it is here. Thank God I have MaxiCare, which is like the local, insurance here, or like HMO or something like that here. But the way it's engineered is pretty much like in America with like copay and things like that. But in all honesty, here, to get really top service or best of the best service, it is going to cost you, and everything is to a great part, everything is upfront money. So you have to have that prepared. Not like in America where you get the job done, you get everything done, and then they bill you later. Unfortunately, I haven't heard of that here. So just be prepared for that. Have some money stashed away, or if you can find some healthcare insurance or medical insurance, even better. But just be aware that healthcare is a bit like, it's a bit weird here. Things could be like this video, like right now, 2025 in January. When you see this video months later, it might be different. I don't know. But I do know one thing is constant. It's a money thing. So making sure that you have enough money stashed away. From what I heard, you can also go through other government agencies that can give you assistance as well, but only after the fact and on a reimbursement. So just keep that in mind. And number 5, social integration. Filipino hospitality is unmatched, but building deep, great relationships here might be hard for many expats or Filipino-Americans. Me personally, I'm always, because unfortunately, I'm super skeptical, and the position I am in my life, I'm always thinking like, what's in it for them? Are they going to get something from me type thing? But over time, I have tried my best to just see the goodness in people and see the value of what we have. Everyone starts at 100 with me until you do something wrong, and then that number gets shipped away. So, it's very hard for me to overcome that bridge sometimes because I have my limiting beliefs as to where people really sit here in the Philippines. As like an outsider, although I am Filipino, sometimes I have to walk on eggshells as to what the social etiquette here is when it comes to talking to people, speaking your mind and things like that, because Filipinos sometimes, for the most part, are very sensitive, and sometimes they can't take it straight on, where it doesn't work out that way, especially like me being a professional here. I have to be in conversations where I have to call people out and, hold them accountable. And it's usually ends up in, I would have to say 7 out of 10 times more on the emotional thing and people not holding themselves accountable. Maybe it's because of dignity thing, a pride thing, I don't know. But there's just certain things that I'm still learning here as to how it works socially, how to go around someone to get them empowered, to get them accountable and things like that, especially in my work setting. But yeah, there's definitely still a lot I need to learn about the Filipino people to really understand them and how, how Filipinos work. And in closing, now I am a business consultant right now. My core competencies are basically working with people, empowering them, especially leaders in that first stages of management or leadership where they're confused of being a employee-centric manager or a company-centric manager. And sometimes you have to balance all of that too, because you have to understand, you have to safeguard the assets and the resources of the company, at the same time making your people feel that they are empowered and they have room for growth. That is a really weird balance to try to balance out, honestly. So you have to be very strategic, you have to be very proactive, and that's what I help do. On top of other things like public speaking, and I do life coaching or accountability coaching as well. But in the realm of just, empowering, especially empowering young men to get to the next levels of life. And I also have my own mentors too to help me get to the next level for myself as well. But as a business consultant now, I pretty much focus on that. I focus on, working with the staff, working with the leadership, and just getting them to the point where, not so much of a micromanager, but getting them to the point where they can be self-reliant, really proactive, and find that balance of making sure that you stand up for your staff, making sure your staff feels valued, and more importantly, making sure that the company grows. So you have to find that balance, like I said before, being employee-centric at the same time company-centric or pro-company. If you really want to book some time with me, my link is down below. Hit me up if that resonates with you. I'll be more than happy to help you, And I'm here locally in Cebu. If you want to grab some coffee, I'll be more than happy to sit down with you and game plan with you and try to create a strategy for you. Or I can just be an ear that you need to talk to and, break down ideas, throw some ideas and things like that. And starting a business in the Philippines has its own challenges because I'm still working on Ruby's skincare business on top of the other businesses that we have, the small business that we have here in the Philippines. And it has its own challenges. That could be another video as far as from the process of creating a business all the way to processing it, going through the BIR and all those things. It's pretty tedious here, to be honest with you. My closing thoughts, and I really want to thank you for staying on this long. 2 years, 2 cities, a lot of adventures, a lot of ups and downs, just basically the ebbs and flows of life. I really appreciate it. I just wanted to kind of break down my 2 years with you guys and my thoughts here. I still truly believe that Philippines is a beautiful country. There's so much to explore here, so many places I want to explore, and I want to take you on that journey. And I just want to thank everyone for following me all this time. I've been on YouTube for a couple of years now, and I really truly appreciate for those of you who actually actively communicate with me with a very small community that we have here. But you don't know how much that puts fuel in my gas tank to keep going. And I know this channel is not super niche down, but that's just me. I'm eccentric anyway. So I hope, because at the end of the day, everyone out there, you're not focused on one thing most of the time. You dabble in a lot of things. And I just want to take you on for the journey of my life's journey. And if that resonates with you and you are the same, amazing. Let's connect. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, share this video. And I really look forward to creating more videos like this, more of just who I am type thing. Like right now, I'm going to be doing a review, and I'm just excited to just be me. And if people watch it, people watch it. If people don't watch it, I don't know what to tell you. At the end of the day, I've noticed as I've gotten older, my circle of friends have gotten smaller, which I like anyway because they're a bit more true. They're a bit more me, and they resonate with me. I hope one of you is them. And to be honest with you, the channel is kind of like my other friend, as in like it's super honed into people who like what I like, and that's perfect for me. Because in all honesty, I learned this a long time ago. You can pretty much comment down below if I'm wrong. You can pretty much count your real friends on one hand, and YouTube is one of my friends. Ergo, you guys. So with that said, take care, God bless, and I will see you in the next video. And comment down below what type of videos you want to watch, because I'm really looking and diving into food. Like when I go out to restaurants and just eat and just give you like a quick honest review. Business, obviously, because I love helping people and just trying to create money. And I do want to do reviews, because reviews that help out your household, help out certain things in your life. Like right now, I'll be doing a review for this right now, coming up soon, because the selfie stick for creators and for just being in the office might be great. And lastly, just taking care of your health. Right now, I'm dry fasting. Hopefully, follow the journey. The video is going to be here somewhere. I'm dry fasting right now, so just getting me wanting to get personally in shape, and hopefully you get along. Hopefully you join the journey of getting in shape as well. Once again, take care. God bless, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.